I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and welcome to our podcast, For the Health of It. Remember to subscribe to our podcasts, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well.
The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Are you suffering needlessly? Dr. Joe can give you advice on how to naturally get well and stay well. Dr. Joe Esposito.
What we're going to talk about today is a question that I get a lot, and you've probably asked the question yourself, and it is, why am I so hungry all the time? And that's a big question because some people say, I just ate and I shouldn't be hungry, but now I see donuts and I want to eat them. I see cookies, I want to eat them. I just went to a buffet and then I go home and I don't want to snack. Anybody do that aside from me? I bet you do too. So maybe you have a donut at work and it was just too good to pass up. We've all done that, right? Oh, these things are so good. Oh, these are my favorite. I can't pass these up. And then you use that excuse, that deadly excuse. It's a treat. Anybody use that? Oh, it's a treat. I just want to have a treat today and I deserve a treat. Well, a treat is just that. It's something you do very infrequently. The problem is that most people do it every day. Well, I worked hard today. I'm going to have a treat. I didn't work hard today. I'm going to have a treat. I had a day off. I'm going to have a treat. That doesn't work. So you want to say something else. It's change the wording that you're having because something may be tasty in the moment, things like sugary drinks, candy, pastries, but they don't give you a lot of lasting energy, so you're hungry real soon. So what would be better choices? Well, number one is don't give yourself those treats. And you know what I'm talking about. And the thing is with sugar, I'm going to talk about this a lot today, is when you put sugar in your body, it stimulates a part of the brain called the nucleus accumbens. And that releases dopamine receptor sites. Dopamine receptor sites fire off. And dopamine is a neurotransmitter in your brain that gets you high. You feel good. Dopamine is that pleasure neurotransmitter. So think of the most pleasurable thing you can do. I know what you're thinking. And suddenly, the dopamine is being released. Sugar does the same thing, only it's quicker, easier, cheaper. And so why not do it, right? Hey, I don't have to go out and do that thing that gives me so much pleasure. I'm just going to have a little sugar. So we got to start thinking about better choices, anything with a lot of fiber in it. And the reason is this. When you eat fiber, fiber slowly pushes the sugar through your colon and you get a slow release of energy. If you eat an apple, let's say, an apple has fiber, pushes the sugar through the colon, you're happy. If you drank a glass of apple juice, it's going to blast the sugar into your body. The sugar gets into the stomach and into the digestive system, gets absorbed. The pancreas dumps a ton of insulin into the blood to get the cells to open up and allow the sugar into the cells. So now you have all this insulin running around in your blood. The cells open up, the sugar's out, and then you crash. And so what do you want to do? You want to eat something that gave you that burst of energy again, which is the sugar. Fiber slowly pushes the sugar through the colon. You get a slow release of energy, slow release of sugar. And so you don't have that crash, that rush and then the crash. So fiber only comes from plants. You can't get fiber from animal products. So meat, dairy, cheese, butter, yogurt, ice cream, eggs, zero fiber. This is why another reason you need to eat more plants. If you're going to do whole grains, I'd stay away from wheat. Because wheat is always sugar. And what happens is with wheat is you have a thing called the wheat, the kernel of wheat. And on the outside, it's coated with something called bran. Well, you know bran is fiber, right? So the bran is the fiber, but when we make white flour, we take the bran off. Then there's a part of the wheat kernel called the endosperm. And the endosperm is a bunch of sugar, basically. And then there's a part of the wheat kernel called the germ. Now, the germ is where all the nutrients are, the vitamin E, the good nutrients. Well, we take the germ off in a lot of processed wheat products because it has oil in it, wheat germ oil. And that oil will go rancid, and that's not good for you. So if we're going to make something that has a long shelf life, we're going to take the germ off, we're going to take the bran off, and what's left is the endosperm. That's white flour. It's essentially pure sugar. So if you're going to eat wheat, you're getting a ton of sugar, regardless of whether it's whole wheat or white wheat or whatever it is, you're still getting a ton of sugar. So I wouldn't recommend doing wheat. Wheat also has a protein in it called gluten, and gluten is made up of two components, gliadin and glutenin. And when those proteins get into your body, the body recognizes them as foreign. well, it doesn't recognize them. That's why they're foreign. It says, I don't know what that is. Let's send the immune system out to attack it. Now, some people's immune systems are more sensitive than others, and it can blow out your immune system. The immune system sends all these white blood cells out, and the white blood cells are designed to be specific, but if you have too much going on, they might start doing some collateral damage, some friendly fire. And your own immune system can start attacking yourself. And gluten looks a lot like the lining of your cell, the same cell walls, the same kind of protein. So what happens is you start having an autoimmune reaction. Your immune system starts attacking itself because the gluten looks like your cell walls. And now you can have swelling, brain fog, inflammation, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, big problems. Also, a lot of commercial wheat, especially in the United States, is sprayed with glyphosate. Glyphosate is a weed killer. And what we do with that is we spray this weed killer on the wheat to kill the wheat before we harvest it. Now, why would we want to do that? It's a lot easier to harvest, takes a lot less stress on the machines if it's dead. And so now all this glyphosate is getting into the wheat. And in fact, I was talking to a friend of mine, a chiropractic neurologist, just the other day. And he said, too, he says, do you find that some people that have wheat issues in the United States don't have it when they go to Europe? And I said, it's true. He says, yeah, I see that too. So in Europe, a lot of the glyphosate and genetically modified foods are banned, and so they don't have the problems that we have here. But either way, I don't recommend eating wheat. If you're going to do grains, you want to do something like quinoa. If you've never had quinoa, it's kind of nice, actually. It's a little higher in protein, a little lower in carbs. Better choice. If you're going to do rice, brown rice versus white rice. Why? White rice has had the rice bran removed. That's why it's brown, the bran. And so they remove it and then polish it. It's essentially eating sugar. And you eat the sugar, it releases the insulin. The insulin opens up the cells absorb all the sugar. Then you crash because you don't have any blood sugar anymore, and then you get hungry again. So staying away from grains is a good idea. But if you're going to do grains, quinoa would probably be a good one. Millet would probably be okay. Brown rice. Again, don't do them if you don't have to. But if you have to, those are the ones I'd suggest you do. Healthy fats. How about nuts and avocados? I have nuts everywhere. I have them at my office. I have them at my house. I carry them in my car, little packets of nuts, because nuts are great. They're high in fiber. They're high in good fats. They're high in nutrients, proteins. They have some carbs in them, just like beans. Some people say, well, Doc, I've been eating a lot of beans and I'm gaining weight. A lot of carbohydrates in beans, but there is the fiber too. So what you want to do is this. You want to get something called net carbs, and you want to do about 40 to 50 net carbs a day. So the way we do this, and this is going to help with the hunger, because that's what we're talking about today. Why are you so hungry? Why am I so hungry? Is you got to get a net carb of about 40 or 50 grams a day. So you take the amount of carbohydrates. Let's assume you pick up a, can of soup, can of beans. And it says it has 30 grams of carbohydrates, but it has 10 grams of fiber. So you take the 30 minus 10, and then you have 20 grams of net carbs. Did you follow that? It's pretty simple math. And in a day, if you can shoot for about 40 or 50 net grams of carbs a day, you're going to be pretty good. So again, you can eat a lot of fiber and eat a little more carbs then too. Avocados are great source of fat. And if you eat an avocado, you're going to find that you fill up pretty quickly. And that's a neat little trick. Now, for a while there, avocados they had an issue, I think, with the growing season. It was a problem with avocados, so they're still available. I've never been anywhere in any grocery store anywhere in the country that didn't have avocados, any big grocery store. So avocados make a great snack. If you don't know how to eat an avocado, it's not hard. It should be soft, and when you push on it, it should feel like the tip of your nose, just a little give. That means that the avocado is ripe. Cut it open, cut it in half. There's a big pit in the middle. Take the pit out, and now you have two halves, and you can eat it right out of the shell. Put a little salt on there if you want to, add a little olive oil if you want to, and eat it right out of the shell. You'll be amazed how good you feel and how you won't get that hunger feeling as if you ate a donut the same size, because that's a good fat. If you're going to eat animal proteins, I don't recommend you do. I haven't had animal proteins in over 30 years. However, if you decide to eat animal proteins, I'm going to recommend you do organic only. And that would be meat, dairy, cheese, butter, yogurt, ice cream, eggs. And the reason is this. 30, 40 years ago, we didn't have to worry about steroids, hormones, chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, genetically modified foods, and now we do. So the food supply is a mess. eating organic, you solve a lot of those problems. So do that. Now, also, I want you to remember that when you eat something, it takes 20 minutes to get the message from your stomach to your brain. So you're going to eat whatever it is. Let's take Thanksgiving dinner, for example, Christmas, a big dinner, any big dinner. You go to the table and you're starving. Oh my gosh, there's so much food and I'm so excited and I can't wait to eat this whole buffet. And then you sit down to eat. And 20 minutes later, you're stuffed and you can't move and you can't understand why that happened. Well, the stomach releases a hormone called leptin. Leptin is released into your blood, goes into your hypothalamus, part of your brain, and it tells you that you're full. It takes 20 minutes to get there. So whether you have a little snack and wait 20 minutes, or you have a big meal, or you eat a whole buffet and wait 20 minutes, that's how long it takes to feel like you're full. So here's the trick. I want you to eat something, fruits, vegetables, nuts, or seeds, and wait 20 minutes before you eat something else. In this case, Mom was wrong. Mom always said, don't ruin your appetite. I'm telling you that you should ruin your appetite. And by ruining your appetite, you have a meal, have a snack, wait 20 minutes. You're going to eat so much less food. It's crazy, I promise you. And it's one of the tips I do when I do my weight loss seminars is I tell people to have a snack before every meal. And you'll be amazed. I do it. I wake up in the morning and first thing I have is Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. And then I go about my morning. I'll take a shower, I'll brush my teeth, get my clothes ready. I always have a cup of tea in the morning. It's one of my rituals that I like. And the Super Greens, the Essential Source, if you don't know what those are two supplements. I created them many years ago, and I made them for myself, actually, because I have a condition called macular degeneration. I was going blind. And so the doctor said, well, you can take some lutein or zeaxanthin, and you should be fine, and it's just going to be progressive. It is what it is, and who knows how long you're going to have your sight. So that wasn't very encouraging to me. So I put together Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source loaded with antioxidants and nutrients. And I started taking them. About a year and a half, 2 years later, I went back to the eye doctor. He took a picture of my macular degeneration and he turned white as a ghost. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's gotten worse. I have a brain tumor. I'm going to die. And he looked at me. He says, it's getting better. He says, macular degeneration never gets better. And yours is getting better. He says, what are you doing? And I told him I created these supplements. And he says, whatever you're doing, keep taking them and tell everyone you know to take them. Because obviously it's healing the inside of your eye, which is unheard of. So I recommend everyone take Super Greens and Essential Source. It's the minimum amount of nutrients that you need. It's what I call the core nutrients to get your body going in the morning. And a lot of times when you're hungry, you're not hungry for food, you're hungry for nutrition. So if you could load your body up with a ton of nutrition first thing in the morning, that's a great way to start your day. So I do that every day. And then right around 10 o'clock or so, I wake up pretty early. Around 10 o'clock or so, I start getting hungry. I'll have a couple of handfuls of nuts. Cashews, almonds, pecans, pistachios, walnuts. Sometimes I'll do nut butter. It's just ground up nuts. And that holds me over. And that really helps control my appetite. And then lunch is usually a salad or something like that. And then dinner. And if I have time, I'll talk about that as well. But if you don't know what to eat, go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. Would have first ones come up. And right on the homepage, right in the front, it says sign up for my newsletter. And it's free, and we send out great information. In fact, everywhere I go, people say, thank you for that newsletter. It's quick, it's concise, it's fun tips you can use. And I'm going to send you a lecture that I did called So What Can I Eat? I'm going to send you a link to that, and then you could listen to the lecture as well and talk about how to do breakfast, lunches, and dinners. That's not for today's workshop. So we're talking today about why am I hungry all the time? And one of the reasons is that we don't eat nutritious foods. You have to give your body nutrition so that the brain says, yep, that's what I wanted. I feel good. Now, let me back up a little bit. With the Super Greens and the Essential Source, if you want to, you can add a couple of tablespoons of extra virgin organic coconut oil to it. After you make it, add it in. It'll harden. It'll crunch up. And it adds a little chew to the Super Greens and the Essential Source, which is actually good because when you chew, you release saliva, and saliva helps digest your food more efficiently. But also the 2 tablespoons of fat are going to make you feel full longer. And you can get extra virgin coconut oil pretty much anywhere. It's sold everywhere. But that's a fun little thing you can add to the Super Greens, the Essential Source. And the reason it gets crunchy is because coconut oil, I think it's 76 degrees, might be a degree or two off there, is either liquid or solid right around in the mid-70s. And so when you add it to something cold, like I add coconut milk or almond milk with the Super Greens and the Essential Source, and I shake it up with the coconut oil, and it hardens. And if you remember when you were a kid, they used to have the soft serve ice cream, and they dip it in either chocolate or strawberry, I guess it was, and it would create a crunchy coating on the outside. That used to be coconut oil. Well, coconut oil, they found a cheaper way to do it synthetically, and now they use synthetics. But the reason it hardens is because when the coconut oil hits the ice cream, it gets crunchy. So you can kind of relive your old days by putting a little coconut oil into Super Greens, the essential source. But really a great supplement. I think everybody should take them. They're on the website, drjoeesposito.com. If you want more information, you can order them there. You can also order them from Amazon. If you have an Amazon account, order them. At least, if you do nothing else, start taking the Super Greens, the essential source. Most people just love them, and they want to continue taking them. That's on the website again, drjoeesposito.com. Now, folks, I'm a chiropractor, and if you have a problem, health problem, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, my team of doctors and I, we want to be your doctors. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. So if you'd like to make an appointment to come see us, I want you to go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, number one Dr. Joe in the world. You can book it online. You can call us. We accept people with all insurances. We honor most insurance plans, Medicare patients, car accidents, sports injuries. Here's the thing. I've never seen a car accident victim ever if the car was damaged where the occupants weren't. So I really want you to consider that if you've ever been in a car accident, whether it was yesterday or 30 years ago, you need to come in and see us, because if the bones are out of alignment, they're going to rub up against each other. They're going to wear out, guaranteed 100%. You will develop arthritis, and you're pinching nerves, and that can cause pain. It can affect organ function. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're ready to get well, go to my website right now, drjoeesposito.com. Make an appointment to come see us, because we want to be your doctors. So other reasons why you're hungry all the time. You're stressed out. Anybody stressed out? Raise your hands. Yeah, I bet you are. So when we get stressed out, our body, your body zaps away hunger with a hormone called adrenaline. You feel good. Oh, excuse me, got excited there. But if your worries stick around for a while, your system cranks up another hormone called cortisol. So you and I are talking, a gunshot goes off, or a car backfires. Boom, adrenaline is released. We realize we're safe, we're okay. You know what? I lost my appetite. But if we're under long-term stress, how many people have long-term stress? Raise your hands. A lot of you. Relationships, finances, business, work, family, job, where you live, car problems. We all have stress. But when it becomes long-term stress, your body cranks out cortisol. Now, this can make you want to eat everything in sight. This is why sometimes when people take steroids, hormones, they gain weight, because they want to eat. You can't stop yourself. So when the stress goes away, the cortisol levels fall off and your appetite returns to normal. So how do we know if you're under chronic stress? Well, at our office, we do a saliva test on our patients. And what we do is we collect your saliva. Well, you collect your saliva for a day, and we mail it off to our lab. And the lab does an analysis. And what should happen is this. Cortisol should be low at night, and it should go up in the morning when you wake up. And the cortisol is the thing that kind of gets you humping and pumping again for the day. And what happens is, as cortisol levels go down, melatonin levels go up. Melatonin is a chemical in your brain, a hormone that makes you tired. So cortisol is high in the morning, wakes you up. Cortisol drops throughout the day. At the end of the day, it's low. Melatonin kicks in. Melatonin goes up. At night, melatonin starts to drop off. When the morning comes around, cortisol goes up, and you got this seesaw going on. But if you have high cortisol throughout the day, you're going to be more hungry, and you're going to get less sleep. And that's one of the reasons why when you miss a lot of sleep, you just want to eat, because it's messing with your hormones. So I want you to consider that if you think you're under chronic stress, you're not sure. And again, some people they're living under stress. They don't know what normal is. Come in our office. We'll do the saliva test for you. I think you'll be amazed at the results. Why? Other reasons. Why am I hungry all the time? How about you're thirsty? Sometimes you think you need to eat when actually you're dehydrated. There's two parts of the brain. When you're a baby, little tiny baby, there's one part of your brain that controls hunger and another part of your brain that controls thirst. And as you get older, those two parts of the brain literally start to grow together. And so as a toddler and on into, childhood and adulthood, you think you're hungry, but you're really thirsty. And so another trick I want you to do when you're hungry all the time is I want you to drink more water. And it works, folks. I used to be fat. I used to have stretch marks. I have stretch marks on the back of my legs, my chest. I totally get this eating thing because I come from a family that they ate constantly, half Italian, half German. There was food everywhere all the time. We were very poor. My father was disabled. And so my mother would say, if I'm going to turn the oven on to roast a chicken, well, I got to make a cake too because I don't want to waste the oven. Well, what did that do? That put on pounds on me, my mother, my sister, my father. And so I was fat as a kid. And it's funny because just the other day I was going through pictures with my mom. My mom's still alive, and we were going through some pictures, and I found the picture that changed my life. And I was standing there in a bathing suit in front of the house we lived in, and I didn't have a shirt on, and the rolls of fat were just hanging over the top of the bathing suit. And I remember being a kid looking at that and saying, that's not what I want. And that's the picture that changed my life. Didn't see it for decades, and it just emerged the other day in my mother's picture. But what I started doing was, in my simple little mind, I thought, well, if I'm hungry, I need something in my stomach, so I'm going to put a ton of water in my stomach to fill up my stomach. That was my, whatever it was, 8, 9-year-old mind. Well, the good news is that I was right. I got the right for the wrong reasons. Yeah, I was right for the wrong reasons. I started drinking a lot of water. I didn't eat as much. And when I didn't eat as much, I lost the weight. And of course, I was young too. It's a lot easier to lose weight then too. So you have to feed your head with water. And not coffee, because coffee is a diuretic. It actually drains your body fluids, not alcohol. Scotch and water doesn't count, folks. Sorry. It has to be just plain old water. If you want to do an herbal tea, maybe you can get away with that. But you got to put fluids into your body, and you're going to be amazed how much less you eat, because that's going to solve a lot of your problems. We talked about spiking your blood sugar. When you eat sweet and starchy carbohydrates like donuts, pastries, cookies, sodas, they send out a lot of sugar into your system at once. Your body releases insulin, which helps the cell open up and use the fuel. Then the flood of sugar can cause your body to make more insulin than you need. So what happens is you open up too many cells, dumps in too much sugar into your cells, and then you start to crash. Also, if you're eating fructose or high fructose corn syrup lowers the hormone in your stomach called leptin, but it increases a hormone in your small intestine called ghrelin. Ghrelin is the hormone that goes into your hypothalamus that tells you that you're hungry. So what are sources of high fructose corn syrup? Well, pretty much anything processed. And many times, in fact, I think all the time, I don't know when it's not, if we make high fructose corn syrup in the United States, they use genetically modified corn. And genetically modified corn changes the molecular structure of the DNA, the proteins, and now the body can recognize that as a foreign protein and start attacking it. So that can be an issue as well. Not good. So it's not hard to get, we've got a lot more to talk about. In fact, I'm going to have to go to break in just a second. But I'm going to talk about hiatal hernia. If you have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, all of those mean you might have a hiatal hernia or a spasmed stomach. I'm going to discuss with you how to fix that. We fix it all day, every day. We'll talk about the low blood sugar, pregnancy, if you eat too fast, your food isn't satisfying, not getting enough nutrients, lots of other things you talk about. Medication can make you hungry. So we're going to cover all that when I come back from the break. So there's a lot to cover. And I'm going to take this show and I'm going to put it on my website, which is drjoeesposito.com. Archive hundreds of radio shows there, videos. It's all there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No charge. Now, the big thing is that most people are undernourished. You may be overfed, but undernourished. And if you're undernourished, you need to start getting nutrients into your body in a concentrated form. And the best form that I know of is Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're 2 powders. I mix them together. I use coconut milk, almond milk. I put it in a jar and shake it up. I strongly advise that you consider taking these supplements. Most people, major majority of people, are just thrilled when they start taking it because they realize how much more efficient their body is working. And one of the reports I get, and I had people tell me all the time, Doc, I'm saving money by taking the supplements because I'm eating less food, because I'm getting the nutrients that I need. So I'm actually making money by taking your supplements. I said, good, I like that. So if you want to order those are on my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. Also on Amazon, if you have an Amazon account, you can get them there. But try it. At least do it for a month. Do it religiously every day. I think you'll be amazed. Now, folks, if you want to make an appointment to come see us, we're chiropractors. We have a team of 6 chiropractors in my offices. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We would love to have you as a patient. So if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, muscle weakness, digestive problems, car accidents, sports injuries, stop suffering needlessly. So many of you come into my office and you say, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I suffer all these years? So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your children. If you want to make an appointment, that's on the website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, number one Dr. Joe in the world. You can call us. We can do it online. We honor insurance policies, Medicare, car accidents. We want to be your doctors. We want to get you well and keep you well. Hey, thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening to For the Health Fit. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well. You can also listen to and call into my radio show live Sunday evenings from 7 to 9 Eastern Time on WSBRadio.com and on the WSB Radio app.